Hey guys, it's Jason with Kentucky Sustainable Living. I've got a video I've been working on a little bit, and I've thought about it too in the past and come up with a bunch of notes and stuff like that on it. But here lately, and it's been an ongoing thing also. But I've had a lot of people ask me, it's like, hey, do you know of anybody that wants to come to my farm or my homestead? When the grid goes down, or when something goes crazy, I want some people at my place. I've got enough land. I want to have people to there to help produce food, protect it, stuff like that. Essentially bringing more members in on your place. It's an awesome idea. I've got the same idea myself. Make plans for that. Got plans for that. In the event of anything happening, we've got plans set up. But the downfall of it is, the way I see it is, people don't plan for it. They're just like, great, Jimmy and Susie and their two kids are coming. We're gonna have more people to pull security. We're gonna have more people for the garden. All this, but they don't think of the logistics of it. I like to think in the logistics part. There's all kinds of stuff that goes into it. It's not just, hey, these two couples and their kids are coming over to our place and we're going to ride doomsday out at my farm. There's a bunch that goes into it. I've got some notes and stuff I'm going to go off of. I couldn't keep everything straight in my head. The first thing about doing a community on your property, the people are the best and the worst part of it. People suck in general, the vast majority, but you're not going to be able to do it alone. So the whole video on this, so you want them to come to your house, stuff that we're going to need to think about. People in general, what skills do they have? That's an important thing to look at when you're thinking about all this. Some bullet points on this: how long have you known them? Roles for each person. The vetting process as far as letting them come to your house. What's expected of these people that are going to come to your place? Do you get along with them for more than a few hours? There's a lot of people I can get along with for a few hours and everything's fine. But man, after about a few hours, I'm like, I want to get the hell out of here and I'm done with these people. Also, do you have the same core values and same core beliefs as these people? If you don't, it's probably never going to work, honestly. You can disagree on a few things here and there, minor things, but if you don't have the same core values and beliefs, it's not going to work in the long term. I can guarantee that. So, who all gets to come if you find a family? So, say you've got Tommy and Susie and their two kids. Who all gets to come? If Jimmy and Susie and their two kids are coming, what about Jimmy's parents? What if he says something about that? Are Jimmy's parents allowed to come? Can they? Another thing is, can they bring their two dogs and cats? That's something to think about. She can't live without her cats and everything. It's like, we ain't got a place to put no stupid cats. And then you've got another dog. If you've got livestock guard dogs and stuff, you've got to worry about those dogs getting along, stuff like that. That's part of it. Also, feeding these animals, housing them. That's something that you've really got to think about on that. I mean, if it's just some stupid yip yap dog, it's probably not going to come here unless it serves a purpose. And if it's somebody else's livestock guard dog that they're bringing, yeah, that's probably a no-brainer, or some type of protection dog, one of the shepherds, something like that. That would be almost a no-brainer. Yes, bring that dog. That's another means of security. Also, can they keep their mouth shut about their plans? You don't want them telling everybody and their mom, well, I'm going to Jason's house and he's got this and that. Can they keep their mouth shut on it? So stuff, once you've got the people, what's expected out of these people once you've got them. And some of the stuff that I'm going to go over, like their own supplies. So where are they going to keep these supplies? They're not just going to show up in their truck and be like, hey, we're here, we made it. Let's sing Kumbaya by the fire because Jason did all the work and you're just providing them a place. That's not going to fly. Some of the stuff, personally for me, what I would prefer if someone's coming here, I would prefer 6 to 9 months of food, medical, and hygiene and clothes. That's everything you're going to need. Your food, that's, self-explanatory. You need 6 to 9 months of food for each person that's coming to your place. Medical stuff, any of your medicines, over-the-counter medicines, first aid stuff, gauze, bandages, stuff like that. They need to have. Uh, that's something that you should be preparing for anyway, and have a good stock of it. Hygiene stuff, soaps, shampoos, feminine stuff, toothbrushes, toothpaste, all that kind of stuff that goes into your hygiene, washcloths, towels, stuff like that. Clothes. You should have work clothes. Don't bring 14 suits, because that's not going to cut it, in a grid down situation. Have good work clothes. Have clothes for your kids. If you still got kids that are still growing, you should think about, hey, they're in a size 8 right now, and in 6 months they might be in a size 10. So that's something to think about too. Uh, Something that you got to think about too, where are they going to store these supplies and clothing? Are they going to store them at their place, or are they going to store part of them at your place? My personal thoughts on it: keep some of it at their house, and if you've got room, store the bulk majority of it at your place. So then that way, if they have to bug out to your place on foot, there's no way that they're going to be able to carry all that stuff. So everything is pre-staged, ready to go when they get here. And if something happens and they can't drive their truck with all their supplies, they've still got the vast majority of supplies where they're going. Uh, when will they come? Trigger points. When are they going to come? When you've got to set trigger points. If martial law is declared, are they coming right then? If the stock market drops so many points in a day, are they coming then? There's just all kinds of trigger points. You've got to decide when they're going to come. Another thing, you pool supplies, and everything is all pooled together. You might have been storing up awesome homegrown food and tons of meats and stuff like that, and they just store beans and rice. Are you going to pool all your supplies together and then everybody's eating good food and beans and rice, or are you going to make them eat their beans and rice while you're eating steak in the house? That's one thing to think about. Before it's time to come, what do they provide? Are they providing sweat equity, financial stuff to you, or both, to get all your systems ready? And we're going to get into all our systems here in a little bit, stuff you've got to think about. So on that aspect, are they coming over on the weekends and helping you get certain systems set up? Are they learning your property and learning your growing methods, your farming methods, or are they just providing financial support for it? If they've got an awesome job and they've got tons and tons of money, they might just provide the financial support most of the time and then come over when they can. Another thing is decision making. How are decisions gonna be made? Who's got the final say? Conflict resolution, stuff like that. Is it going to be a dictatorship, or is it going to be a democracy where everybody's got to vote, stuff like that? If there's fast decisions that need to be made, who's going to make those decisions? That's something that you really have to sit down with these people and figure out. So, all right, and now a lot of the things that we're going to touch on now, things to consider once the people are chosen and expectations have set. So you found your people that you want to ride the end of the world out with and that are going to help you on your place. You set expectations, what's to be expected, stuff like that. One of the big things is living areas. Where's everybody going to live? You've got, most people I know don't have 3 extra bedrooms in their house and stuff like that for everybody and their mom just to come stay. Some people might. That's great. Where will these people live? Are they going to live in your house? You got to have a shop or an outbuilding that you can heat. You're not going to have air conditioning most likely in your shop or your outbuilding, but you need a way to heat it. You can always open the windows and the doors in a shop, get some fresh air in, but in the wintertime, heating's going to be a big one. A tiny house. That's another thing. Maybe you've got room and they want to spend the money and put a small tiny house shed on there, and you can equip it out with them. So, and at last and not least, tents. I mean, are they going to stay in tents? That's something to think about, just to kind of get your mind rolling on how you could do this. Uh, Storage is another thing. Uh, where's everybody going to store their supplies at? Are they going to store them in your house? They're going to store them in the shop? Are they going to store them in the tents? They're going to store them in the sheds, Connex containers. It's just you've got to start thinking about that. If you're going to bring 4 extra people on, they're going to have a lot of crap that they're bringing with them, and you're going to have something somewhere to keep that stuff dry and out of the weather. You got enough space? That's the big thing. You got that. Also, if they're going to be storing stuff at your place, how will they have access to their supplies? I've gone through this and war gamed it and figured some stuff out on my end. Are they going to have 24/7 access? You really don't want somebody showing up at 2 o'clock in the morning to get a can of ravioli because they were out. That's just kind of ludicrous. So, moving on, after we got the living areas and storage areas figured out, one big thing: waste, human waste and trash. Uh, typically, if you're out in the country and you've got a homestead or a farm, you're going to be on a septic system. You're not going to be on city sewer. Uh, your septic systems are usually built for the number of bedrooms in a house. So they figure that on the number of bedrooms and they size your septic tank that way. If you bring in 4 extra people on your septic system is literally going to crap out and not be useful. You're going to back the septic system up, and then it's not going to be useful. So that's one thing you've got to look at right there on that. You're going to overload the septic system if you just use that with all these extra people. Options for that. First one, composting toilet. I've got a composting toilet in the shop that we use. It works fine. Everything's great. Some people don't like it, but it's better than crapping in the woods, honestly. You can do an outhouse. I know several people, my friends, have outhouses at their place that they use. Outhouse is a great option. That's something that you need to set up before, because it's going to be a pain in the butt to do one after it's all said and done. Another thing, you can do a bigger, if you're building a house, this is not feasible if your house is already built, or it's going to be astronomically more. If you're getting ready to build a property, put in a bigger septic system than what it calls for by the county. You could do that in the idea of, yes, we might have an extra 4 to 6 people coming to my place, so we're going to need that larger volume. Another thing, if you've got a barn, a shop, tiny house where these people are going to be staying, you could go ahead and put in a total different septic system for the shop or the barn or the tiny house, and then that solves your problems. Another thing, trash. What are you going to do with all your trash? You're going to burn it? You're going to bury it? What are you going to do? Waste is one of the biggest things that is going to cause disease. You don't want to be pooping next to your water supply, so it's just going to get people sick. So think about the waste aspect, human and trash. Water is going to be another thing. You can't go without water too awful long, and a lot of people don't think about that. What's your water supply look like? Do you have a well or a water supply on your property? And I'm just reading off my notes, stuff that I've thought about. If you set your place up for X amount of people in your family and you're going to bring more people on, and you've got your water system figured out, you're going to have to add on to that. So expand, if you're doing rain catchments, you're going to have to expand the rain catchment for these extra people that are coming on. And then also, if you're going to raise, it goes on not just for the people to drink, but also if you're going to have extra animals on the property, you're going to need more water for the animals to drink. You're going to need more water for your gardens and the stuff that you're growing. So it's not just people. You've got to expand your water system. Also, extra filters. If you're filtering your water and you've got enough capacity if you figured out your capacity, I'm going to need X gallons, and I can get so many gallons per filter. If you've doubled that, you're going to need twice as many filters. So that's another thing to look at, is your filter situation. All right. Another thing, food storage and production. If you got your food storage out, figured out, as far as food storage and your production, I did some videos on that, like for a family of 4, how much you need to raise for each animal. Go back, take a look at it. But if you've got X amount of area that you set aside for raising animals, doing your garden, you've got to think about that. You're going to have to expand that for the extra people that are coming to your place, and just do some simple math on that and expand on it. That's another big thing. All right, duties and responsibilities of what people are going to do. Who's going to do what, and the skills that people have. Who's going to be watching kids? Who's going to be doing security? Who's going to be working on food production? Who's going to be working on projects? All that kind of stuff. So you really need to sit down and figure out who's going to be doing what in each time, and almost have a schedule set out. If someone's got expertise in one field, let them manage that part of it while you can do some other stuff. There's tons of stuff to think about. Really, I'm just kind of scratching the surface on some stuff that came to the forefront in my eyes, and it's like I want to write some notes on it, make some notes. It's stuff that people might not have thought about in the long run. They're just like, yes, I'm going to get 4 or 5 extra people to come to my house, and everything's going to be fine. There's a whole lot to think about. I would like to hear some comments. Anything that I've missed, I would be interested to know. And guys, I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe. And also don't forget, March 23rd and 24th is our next Homesteading and Preparedness Festival, and there's a link to our website in the description. Y'all have a good day.